What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. We are back. I'm Lady and the Chef.
And I'm Diva21. Welcome.
How you doing today?
Um, you know, when it's a loss, you gotta just, you know, take your losses and just bounce back with the Knicks. Oh, we'll get on track though. It's still early. Yeah,
I think it's too early to hit the panic button.
exactly. That's my thing. It's like there's no need to panic or talk about a trade. Teams are going to go through that. And, you know, we can't expect Randall to have a great game no player is going to have a 82 spectacular game. Um, this is just something again for the team to learn and grow, watch some film and see, where was the collapse, as far as defense, with the offense, ran and everything. So, it's just game three. But
Yeah, I agree. It's still very early in the season. The Knicks are now 1-2. So we played Atlanta. Um, that was a pretty good game.
for
And
sure.
then we played New Orleans just recently. And I thought that was a sloppy game, if I'm gonna be honest. It was sloppy on the defensive end. It was sloppy on the offensive end too. A lot of the passes I saw the Knicks throwing, they were very telegraphical passes.
Yeah.
They were very readable. I thought the Knicks, I don't, and I don't know. A lot of times people say, "Oh, when teams play back to backs," yeah, but that's part of being a professional.
Yeah.
It comes with being in any professional sports. Sometimes you're going to have back to backs, but I just thought that the game itself against the Pelicans was very sloppy as far as the passes.
Yeah.
Zion Williamson was just like a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Randall couldn't hold him. Mitchell Robinson couldn't hold him. He just did whatever he wanted to do and went off as he typically does. I just thought that the Knicks just looked a step too slow, in my opinion.
Yeah, they did, Zion, he's healthy, and he's ready to play. And he showed that he came to play.
Yeah,
Um, they have to make some adjustments because they will meet up with them again. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I know they definitely meet up with them again. I don't know if it's twice for this season, but because they got to play at home, so they definitely will meet up with Zion. Um, and Randall, not just Randall, there's a bunch of them have to step up. But I think this will, definitely be some fuel for Randall. He didn't play his best game. I'm quite sure he's taking ownership for that, and he's just gonna see where can he get better, individually and collectively as a team. Um, I was listening to a podcast and I saw, even I watched Steph, Dope Soul. Shout out to Queen.
shout out to Steph.
Um, Salute. And I hear a lot of these podcasters, the radios, they talking about continuity, not just with the
Yeah,
Knicks, but a lot of teams. And then I saw someone that commented on Steph's podcast, and I was gonna touch on that. You know, how about you go from continuity to get some to consistency? That should be your motto for the season. And I
yeah,
think with the consistency, the continuity will come. I think they need to start there. What's your take on that? Because they keep throwing that word out, continuity.
yeah. That seems to be the new phrase, kind of like in the WNBA when they threw out the super teams. It was like, that's what the media broadcasted, that
Hmm.
terminology of in there. But I agree, continuity keeps being thrown out very loosely. It's something that they're using for a lot of teams in the league. And I feel like with the Knicks, yeah, they need continuity, but the talent. itself that we do have, to piggyback off of what you were saying, they have to bring the consistency every night. And I think that's a big thing that's missing is just the little things, whether it's a
Yeah.
bounce pass, a chest pass, the way you're rebounding, the way you're boxing out on your man is seeing the ball and seeing your man. Little things like that matter. And I think that with the Knicks, it's a lot of times it's the basics sometimes that get thrown out. And I don't know if it's because it's like, you know, players when they get to the NBA, they have this like, well, I'm in the league now, and I'm gonna do my thing and I'm gonna semi use the basics. But I think that the consistency agreed. It needs to be there on a nightly basis in games and out of games. That consistency is gonna be needed from guys. And to be honest, I'm really only seeing like one guy on the Knicks who's being consistent and showing that he knows how to attack the basket. And I would like to see that more with the Knicks. I'm not seeing enough attacking of the basket consistently from all other guys on the court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like the Knicks are kind of going a lot of with again, I want to see more of the basics. The Knicks were very successful last season when they moved the ball. And against the New Orleans Pelicans, that game was a kind of a slow paced game. It wasn't as high paced. But
Mhm.
even still, I don't think like sometimes when I see Quickly or Jalen Brunson bringing a ball down, I feel like the other guys are too slow. I want to see you get down the court quicker so that they can throw you a nice pass where you see when other teams do that successfully. The Knicks don't do that very well because we don't have enough guys. Like that's where you miss a guy like Obi Toppin. Because
Oh
Obi
yeah.
knew how to get down that floor and
Oh
he was
yeah.
ready for the pass. And you could throw him that bullet pass down the court and he was ready to dunk it, shoot it, windmill it. And, quickly, he could get the ball down the court fast. Jalen Brunson
Mhm.
could get the ball down the
Yeah.
court fast, but we don't have enough guys that's ready to run and that can keep up with them, that can get down the court and beat the other four players down the
Mhm.
court.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, the consistency, I believe, I agree with you. It's definitely missing. And I just think, along with the basics, for what the talent that we have and what we're working with, the basics will get you far. And I think the Knicks players don't utilize the basics of basketball when they're on that court.
You know what? I don't. It's not so much as they don't utilize it. They got to realize there are guys that are just as talented as you are,
Agreed.
and they come to play night in, night out. And again, that's why I say consistency. That continuity, I'm not buying
Yeah.
because these guys are they're in the league just like you are. Whether they jump from high school to the big league, did 1, 2 year in college, and they work on their game. So, and it's a challenge night in, night out. No one's not going to give you that W. You
Right.
know, you have to come and be ready to play. So I just feel that, and I know they realize these guys are there just like they are. But again, it's basketball's like a game of challenge. Like, I'm just as competitive. I'm just as good as you are, and that's my mentality. So you guys got to have that same mentality, like not letting your man beat you off the dribble. And there's a lot of the fundamentals that you should have honed by now.
Yeah.
You know,
Agreed. What do you feel like is a shift that's needed? And I asked that question because in watching these first few games, I don't know, the Knicks seem to be, I don't know if I want to use the word that they're not necessarily like gelling together. And that probably could be it. But I feel like the Knicks need to make some adjustments and a shift to kind of like turn things over to show like they're
hmm
all on the same page. And I just feel like I'm seeing a lot of like the sloppy mistakes that we were making last season, like against New Orleans. It was a lot of like sloppy, like basic mistakes
it
that
was
we were making. I
a
saw a
lot
lot
of.
of those stupid, and it wasn't
Mhm.
just Randall. A lot of those, I have the ball now. I'm caught in the air, and I don't have nowhere to throw it, and I'm throwing the ball over now. Mistakes.
Well, it was a lot of unforced turnovers.
Yeah,
And not just, you can't just blame Randall. Collectively, it was a
Yeah,
lot of
agreed.
turnovers. It
Agreed.
was a team effort with the turnovers. So my thing is just tighten up just the basic things like this, the I mean, because we were, we were in it for the most for at some point, most things, we were even with. We had 18 turnovers, they had 13. You know, they beat us in a field goal percentage,
Hmm.
which they have 46, we had 37. We beat them with free throws. So like, but it's the other things like the turnovers. That's a huge factor.
Yeah, it's too
Turnovers
many.
leads to points, the offensive points. So that's why you got to tighten those things up. Um, and just again, just like I don't know if I didn't answer your question but fully, but just kind of go into your question at how many games or when does a team develop their identity? You know, because they haven't to me developed it. I mean, yeah, it's still 3 games in, but at when do you need to win a certain amount of games to develop that identity and say, okay, well, this is us. Look, what is the threshold? What is the number? So that sort of kind of ties into like a question because I mean, again, this is only 3 games, but when does a team develop that identity as a team?
I would think for the Knicks, you would think if a team did well the previous season, that they would be able to gel automatically for the next season.
Yeah.
So you guys would know, like, okay, I know how to, he plays, I know how this dude plays. So you would carry that over into the next season. Um, I think with the Knicks, I wanted to see them gelling right away, but I think with the Knicks, they're known to have those slow starts. So
Yeah.
I think the Knicks are probably going to start really gelling after All Star break, and they'll start to pick it up. I think Tibbs and a lot of the coaching staff are going to say, hey, I need you guys to step it up. We're getting closer to the playoff season. We need to make the playoffs, and not just make the playoffs, but have an agenda. Because to me, I think looking at a team like Miami is very motivational because it's like these guys were in the eighth seed and they fought through each round and showed like, hey, we belong here. So I
Mhm.
think that's like with the Knicks, you can't count them out
Oh,
because
for sure.
even against New Orleans, the Knicks were down by 20 something points at one point. I think it was like
Hmm.
13-32 at one point. And the Knicks got the game down to like 6 points at one point in the second half. So they came
Yeah.
back. So the Knicks are the type of team where they're gritty and they're gonna fight. And we're not that team we used to be years ago where we would get blown out and the Knicks just couldn't crawl back from under 20
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
25 or 30
Hmm.
points. And now we're the type of team where we can come back and get the game back under 10 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or take the
Hmm.
lead and now we're on top or we can tie the game. But I think for the Knicks, it's really probably going to take to maybe around that All Star break afterwards. And then I think the Knicks are going to start to gel and find their identity. And I think we'll see them start to step it up. And, I think that's when we're going to start to see that gelling. And I would hope to see it sooner, but I
Yeah.
think that's when we're going to see it.
I'm hoping it's sooner because the All Star, I mean, everybody's gonna make a push. So you
Right.
definitely want to protect home court, so you gotta start gelling. I know this is tough. Our first 7 games is a tough stretch for us, but guess what? Eh, other teams are gonna run into that down the stretch. It's
Exactly.
how handle that adversity. And you're gonna have multiple back to backs. Like you're playing Cleveland back to back. Tomorrow you turn around and playing them Wednesday. Like you got to step into the challenge. Like
Mhm.
you're gonna run into those back to backs. Is how you respond to them. And so
Right.
that's concerning. Yeah, yeah, this was just the first back to back, but will they fall into a pattern? Let's hope not. With the back to backs, and I see teams resting guys, for whatever reason. But these are things that they're gonna have to adjust.
Yeah. I think it's important for the Knicks to make their mark and let it be known that, you know, we're not going to allow any team to just walk all over us.
Yeah.
Because if you don't set the tone now, teams are going to
Yep.
come in and just say, okay, well, we know we could get that easy W against them, whether they are on our court or we're in New York. And I think it's important for the Knicks to set the tone early, because you got to work with what you have. Unfortunately, the front office didn't make adjustments to bring in certain players or get rid of certain players. And I feel like we've talked about that the last podcast. They will do that. But I think it's important that the Knicks set the tone early and show other teams around the league that, like, hey, we have a squad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're not going
Yeah.
to just walk all over us. We're going to beat you. We're going to be a challenge. You're not going to just blow us out. You know what I mean? We are going to be a challenge against whoever we play against. And that's whether our star players are off, whether
Mhm.
Randall's off, whether Brunson is off. And I think one of the guys who's been showing everyone so far that he's been stepping it up is RJ.
RJ.
And I think
Yep.
it goes back to what you were saying, how FIBA really helped him develop his skills and take it to the next level. RJ is playing with energy. He's driving to the basket. And you know who
Yeah.
else I would like to see do that a little bit more? Josh Hart. I feel like he's
Yeah.
camped out at the 3-point line too much. He just seems like he's kind of like chilling. He's hustling, but it's chill hustle.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I want to see you drive, like protect the ball like it's a football, drive into the basket. I want to see that more with him. And also, I would love to see Tibbs run more plays where DiVincenzo could come off the curl and catch that ball off, off the perimeter and shoot the three. I haven't really been seeing any plays like that for him. I just feel like we setting up Grimes for that. But to me, DiVincenzo could take Grimes' spot.
Oh, that was I was getting ready to jump right into that.
He
I
could
was
take
gonna
Grimes'
say
spot. And I
if
feel like it may happen this season.
Grimes continued to struggle like that,
Yeah.
um, although they signed Grimes, because they feel his ceiling and yada yada yada. But I still, you know, would if Grimes continued to struggle, I think they may just switch things up.
Mhm.
It won't hurt. Um, if hey, put Dante in and see what he can do. He might fare better and bring that spark if he starts. So that's a bonus for us. But yeah, I would definitely love to see that. I mean,
Yeah.
he has 16, off the bench. He got a block, he got a steal, so those are the little things that, he did, to help. It was a losing effort, but nevertheless, that's what he contributed.
You talking about against Atlanta or the Pelicans?
The Pelicans.
No, Dante only had 5 points.
Oh, no, 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 yeah, Atlanta. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Dante had, because
Mhm.
even I know earlier when you mentioned the free throws, the Knicks free throw percentage against New Orleans was only 43%. We'll say 44, rounded off. And New Orleans was
Yeah,
at
yeah, corrected.
78%.
Mhm.
So, the Knicks got outbeat. You took 33 threes,
Big time.
shot 33 threes, but only made nine.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think the Knicks, 13 turnovers. New Orleans had 18, but still, points in the paint was pretty much equal. New Orleans had 50, New York had 52. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Field goal percentage, the Knicks had 36%. I'm sorry, no, the Knicks had 50 points in the paint and New Orleans had 52. And we had 18 turnovers. New Orleans only had 13.
13. Mhm.
So, and the field goal percentage is low. We only had 36%,
And they were 40.
46.
Mhm.
So, you know, We shot 37 threes and only made 7 of them.
Yeah, abysmal. That's you
Yeah,
can't that's dismal. You can't, continue to shoot like that, Like they say, you live by the three, you die by the three. If they're not falling, guess what? Plan B,
right.
because plan A is just not working with
Right.
the
Yeah,
threes.
I think that the Knicks definitely did a on the defensive end, they didn't do a great job. Um, no one had an answer for Zion. He
Oh
was just
yeah.
like a freight train up and down the court. I saw Randall a couple of times. Randall looked like Mitch. Remember Mitch used to always be on the floor? And
Yeah,
at one
yeah.
point people was questioning Mitch's balance.
Well, surprisingly, Mitch stepped up, you
Yeah,
know? Yes. I
yeah,
mean, kudos to Mitch. He stepped up. And I think, and that's what you need with Mitch, night in and night out.
yeah. Mitch
Um,
is gonna get you those rebounds. He had 15 boards.
yeah, yeah.
So I'll give Mitchell Robinson that. He definitely stepped up. Mitch definitely looks energized. He looks stronger. He had eight
Mhm.
points. So he
He
was
has some blocks,
two
right?
points. Yeah, he was 2 points shy of a double double. But I think that one of the things too that stood out for me was that sure we had four guys in double figures, double digits, but not enough scoring.
Oh yeah, for
Julius
sure.
Randle only had 10 points.
Oh yeah, he struggled real man. He was shooting like he was 13. Well, his average he shot 27.7%. Um his 3 points, he was 9 for 15, right? Something like that. And so that's 60%.
Hmm.
He, committed 8 turnovers. He was horrible.
Yeah,
That's his average. But he was what 0 for 5, right? Something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was 0 for 5. And his I think he forced things
He did. He
Saturday.
did.
Um and sometimes these guys they gotta know when to, like, if you're off, and that's also your teammates gotta step in, and somebody gotta, step in, outside of one guy. You got the four guys on the court.
Exactly. And that's what I was trying to allude to earlier when I noticed in that game we were feeding RJ, which was smart. We were feeding the hot hand. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And RJ stood up to the test of time in these first few games. He's showing confidence. His
Mhm.
shot looks like he's gotten better with his
Yeah.
3-point shot. He's driving with authority and he's protecting the ball better when he's driving to the hole. But I would like to see those other guys step in quickly, hard.
Oh yeah.
Grimes.
The
You
bench
know what I mean?
disappeared
Like you
for him.
guys got to step it up. It can't just be one or two guys every night that's bringing us
Yeah.
the heat that we
Mhm.
need to win that game. Or even if we fall short and lose that game, I just would like to see other guys be able to step up and show that, like, okay, this is what I can do. I was able to contribute and do a little bit more, even if necessarily it's not the points. It could be on the defensive end. You know what I mean? It could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
steals, blocks, going after,
Exactly.
hustling after the loose balls. It's the
Yep.
little things that add up. But I need to see more of an effort from other guys on the team. And I agree with you. If it's not your night, that's where that leadership comes in play and that veteran experience. You've been in the league long enough, Randall. That's where you got to know when to feed other guys and do those
Yeah.
other intangibles on the floor, whether that's
Mhm.
setting screens, getting guys open, doing whatever. Randall's a great rebounder.
And
You
he
know what I
is.
mean? So
Yep,
get in
he
and help
is.
Mitch on the boards. Do those other
Mhm.
little things that you're great at and don't
Yeah,
force
yeah.
it. Let the shots come to you.
Yeah, because although he struggled, there are a lot of things that he does, that he can impact the game.
Exactly.
So and he has to know, well, if you're off from, your shooting, then, yeah, he did have, 12 rebounds, but okay, if the three ball's not falling, then okay, then let me drive and things like that. So
Exactly.
there's, he does help the team tremendously. And when
Right.
he's off, you miss that. And so I just wish that he just, wouldn't have try to force the game so much.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like when he does that because, it's just I just it costs us in the end. And it's a few times too I saw Brunson on the defensive end where he was like going in maybe for like a steal or to step up, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
boop, the ball went right past him. And at one point I even seen he like looked like, "Dag, I missed that one." Yeah, you missed
yeah.
it, buddy.
Yeah, Brunson, he was another one that struggled. His field goal, he was 4 for 14, 3.1 for 5. So again, like you was alluding to, this is where, the bench guys got to come in and pick up the slack.
Exactly.
You're gonna have that, where somebody's off or it's your bench, step in. And they didn't, the bench was didn't make too much of a contribution.
At all.
um, you know? So yeah, exactly, at
Yeah.
all.
Because
So,
even Hartenstein wasn't really, he didn't really give us much
mhm,
as a backup to Mitch. I also thought um, Josh Hart also just, I want to see Josh Hart just step it up a bit more. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like, I just feel like he's kind of like, it's that hustle chill, that he's doing. It's like he's doing enough, but it's not enough. It's
mhm,
just enough, but not enough,
yeah.
and a little bit more than we would like to see as fans on watching the games. But the Knicks go to their back to backs. We play Cleveland
Mhm,
tomorrow, which is
yeah,
Tuesday, and then we play them again on Wednesday.
yeah, yeah. We're at Cleveland tomorrow, then they come back on at the Garden, um, Wednesday. I guarantee Mitchell Donovan's gonna be available.
Oh
You know,
yeah, oh
he's out.
yeah,
They said it was hamstring tightening. We'll see.
yeah.
You
That's
know.
gonna be Cleveland's gonna want to make a statement because we beat them
Oh
in the
yeah,
first round of
we
the
knocked them
playoffs.
out. Yeah.
So they're definitely going to be looking for revenge. That's going to be a great game series back to back because now, they're like little rivals now. So,
And not just that. Now we can also test the Knicks on a back to back.
right,
This is a good test for them to see how they respond. And let's see. Does it impact the second game? You know, how will they play? How would they come out? Do they come out tied? And we're gonna see a lot. Wednesday because that's that second game, the back to back.
right. I agree. Do you think that the Knicks, how do you see the Knicks showing up for these games? Are we going to take both games or do you think the Knicks are going to go 1-1?
Well, in reality, I would like them to take both games, and it's doable. Um, but theoretically, we could
But
talk
what is
about
it
the
going to
what.
take for them to win these two games against Cleveland?
Well, definitely they gotta, you know, tighten up on those unforced errors.
Yeah,
Handle the ball. Um, I think that those are costly errors and mistakes. I think if they could just definitely that's you know whole try to again with the unforced errors and the sloppy turnovers and the passes and things like that. Those lead to points. Though I didn't see the stats for the fast break points, but in hindsight, they costly in the end. You know, if the three ball's not falling, okay, go to something else. Your free throws, they did, tighten that up. We was somewhat, ahead, but I definitely would watch things like that. And Mitch continue to play. Mitch
yeah,
continue to be Mitch. He's gotten off to a great start.
yeah. I think Mitch will be great against Cleveland in the back to back
Oh yeah.
because Cleveland doesn't have an answer for Mitch, and he's just too big and too strong. And Cleveland's guys, Jared Allen, those are they're too skinny. You know,
Yeah.
they're basically my size, just taller.
Yeah.
So good luck. You know what I mean? And Mitch, he works out. Mitch gets in that gym. He even looks a lot stronger this year.
Yeah.
Um, I think that for the Knicks, it's definitely going to be protecting the ball.
Yeah.
You know, guarding the perimeter because Cleveland loves to shoot those outside threes. And I just think that guarding Donovan is going to be key.
Mhm.
Rebounding is going to be key.
Yeah.
You know, if you can get the ball out and run, you know, I would like to see the Knicks take the ball down the court quicker, get the ball movement going because that helped us also. So I don't really, I mean, in last season, Brunson proved that he can outplay Donovan Mitchell,
Oh,
which
for
to
sure.
me, I agree, he was the better pick than Donovan Mitchell. I'm sorry, Knicks fans. I know you guys are all Donovan, 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 but Jalen is the better pick. And he proved that last season. He proved it, you know, even when he was on Dallas. But I think that the Knicks are going to have to move the ball, protect the ball, don't settle for the three, feed
Mhm.
Mitch as much as you can. You know, I don't want to see too much ISO with Randall when he gets the ball because when he does that, while Randall can hit those shots, it slows the game down on the offensive side. When we have, you know, when we have the
Yeah.
ball, it slows it
Mhm.
down because we used to do that when we had Carmelo Anthony, and we used to do a
No.
lot of that ISO ball, and it slowed the pace down.
Yeah, that's
But
my
when
man,
we
but
move,
yeah,
right, I'm a huge Melo fan. I love
Melo fan.
Melo. If Melo said they said he was coming back tomorrow. Great, I'm happy. I'm hyped.
Yep.
But I think when the Knicks move that ball and at least four guys are touching that ball, we are a lot more successful in scoring when we have the ball on our end in our possession versus when we do maybe one or two passes and then we shoot. You know what I mean? And now we don't get the rebound. We got to run down the
Mhm.
other end and play defense. So if the Knicks could get a nice amount of passes in, and also one thing I saw too that again I'm only seeing one person do it, and this is where your DiVincenzo's and your Hearts come in play. RJ's cutting to the basket beautifully,
Mhm.
and that's why he's getting nice baskets to the
Yep.
and a few times I saw Randall did it, and I said, "Look at that!" I said, "If you guys do that more, it's
On a
working."
consistent
Right,
basis.
bases, right. It's working. So don't
Yeah.
make the game harder. Again, this is where I wish, you know, I had a behind the scenes pass and like, are y'all watching the tape? Do you need some snacks or something so we could watch the film and see what you were into? Because let's watch it also what worked and I noticed RJ was cutting to the basket. Randall had a few times he cut, and and Randall had like a few nice moves against New Orleans where it was like tough baskets. I mean, he had to reverse it and make it in, and it wasn't like a reverse that was lucky. It was like, no, that was strength, that was skill
Mhm.
set. I beat you to the basket. And if
Yeah.
more guys did that, trust me, Jalen Brunson and Quickly are gonna find you if you cut. These
Mm.
two guys are great passes. They're gonna find
Yeah.
you. Even Isaiah Hartenstein is gonna find you, but you gotta move.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
stand on the
Move without the
perimeter.
ball.
Right. We need more movement. If the Knicks
Mhm.
continue to do that the rest of the I'm telling you that's a recipe for success for them and they will get far and they'll have a higher win total than last season. And
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
help them carrying into the playoffs. If they move that ball, I'm telling you, when you play against teams like the Warriors and they play against the San Antonio, you got to move the ball. You
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
move the ball because Wembanyama is so large, his wingspan is so large. He
Yeah.
can
They said
snatch the ball from any end, right?
they said his wingspan is 8 feet, and
That's
well, look, he's 7'4". What do you expect?
insane.
Yeah, but then you got the other kid that's on OKC, Chet. You
Chet
know,
hungry, yeah.
exactly. These are people. These are guys that you're gonna run up against. Guess what? They're in the NBA for a reason, just like you are.
They're gonna
You
be
know, so
Chet and Wembanyama gonna be doing this. They're gonna be like, he too small. He too small.
exactly.
Because that's the kind of player that Knicks need. We need a guy like that who both of those guys could shoot the three. They could shoot
Hmm.
the mid range. They got handle. And
Yeah,
I know Steph commented on our last video, and she said that was a good point you guys brought up about Randall being exposed against Miami, not having any handle skills. And that was one of the things that also hurt us, besides the shooting, the poor shooting. A
yeah,
couple of guys didn't know how to get themselves free on that one on one and drive to the basket.
yeah.
We
They
struggled against that. Like, I was like, whoa,
they
I
can't
remember
create
watching the
their own
game.
shot.
Yeah, I said, wow, a couple of these guys
Hmm.
don't know how to like one on one get free. We need how like your KD, he could create his own and get his own. Bradley Beal could create his own and get his own shot off. Steph could create his own and get his own shot off. We need guys like that.
Yeah,
And you got to be able to have that skill set to be able to, I could shake and bake. I'm not asking you to be Kyrie and salsa dance on the floor, but you got to know how to get free and get past your man and get to that basket.
yeah, yeah.
You got
Well,
to know the only one that really know how to do that is Brunson.
it's Brunson. Yeah, Grimes. I mean, you were saying with Hart. I mean, I'm really looking for Grimes to like, he got to take that leap, man.
But is
You know,
Grimes ready?
you said was he ready?
Is Grimes ready?
He he
Exactly.
he, he better get ready. It's not a matter is he ready. He better get ready. Like they say, you guys stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Right.
I mean, you're in the big league. It's not a matter is he better get ready.
But that's the thing. I feel like sometimes I agree 100% with you, but sometimes I'm like, is Grimes ready? And then I go back to like, what who were you working with in the off season? Was Grimes working with anybody in the off season? Was it him that was working with what's his name that used to play for Orlando Magic? JJ Redick? Was that Grimes or that was somebody
Yeah.
else I'm
No,
confusing?
wasn't that Grimes?
Yeah. And I love JJ Redick. I think that's a great veteran postseason player, former NBA player to work with, but I don't know. And I've heard Queen talk about this where she would like to see Grimes bring help in bringing up the ball. And I
Yeah.
would. I would like to see Grimes do that, but it's
Mhm.
also like piggybacking off which it's also like other little things. I don't know. To me, Grimes is playing like a little timid. Like
Yeah,
I feel like there's more he could bring, but I don't know if it's like nerves, he's in his head. I don't know what it is, but I would like to see Grimes just give us a little bit more.
yeah, he's gotten off to a slow start, and
I
you
feel
you
like
you
he's
hope he
shooting that
gets.
ball too quick too.
Yeah, you hope he
He's
catch
rushing it.
fire. Yeah, he is.
He's getting it and quickly
Hmm.
shooting it.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Now that
yeah,
works
he's
for some guys,
yeah,
but to me, maybe I think he should come up with a fake and then do a dribble, then shoot it. He's
yeah,
shooting it way too quick, and
too
then it's
quick.
like ding, it's hitting the back of the backboard or
Mm.
hitting the back the block on the. I don't know. I just feel like
Yeah,
and that's
he's
why I
he.
say is Grimes ready?
Well, like I said, he better get ready. He don't have no other choice. But we'll see. Tomorrow's is a test for all
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. I'll be in tune, and I
Oh, for
know
sure.
Wednesday, the MBK family is going to be at Legends doing a pre-game podcast. And then I know during the game they had tickets, so they're going to be at the Garden watching a game, the Cleveland
Oh
game on
wow.
Wednesday. But then I believe they're going to go back to Legends for an after post-game
Oh,
podcast. So if
okay.
anybody's in the New York City area, the NBK family will be at Legends doing a pre-game podcast and a post-game podcast. Legends is a great spot to watch the games. They have a ton of TVs. They have great drinks, amazing wings. So yeah, I'm gonna try to make it, but if not, I'm definitely gonna be tuned in because I like yourself. I want to see what the Knicks are gonna do on this back to back and against Cleveland at that. So
Yeah. And I must make a note. Although Zion beat Randall, I'm still happy we didn't sign him. It's
yeah,
too early to
agreed.
tell what's gonna happen with Zion. It's one game. I mean, I know Randall's gonna bounce back.
Oh yeah, for
So,
sure.
it was just one
But
game. So
Zion, he does that. He starts the season off great. and then an injury happens, and now he's riding the bench.
Yep.
And along with him riding the bench comes in the cravings. I don't know if he
Don't
he
go there
starts
with. Mm.
he starts getting cravings, and then the weight comes on, and then he's just riding the bench. I think he's a great player. He's quick,
Yeah,
he's
for
fast
sure.
for his size, he's
Yeah.
strong, but
Hmm.
it's almost like a he reminds me as far as like the time that he spends throughout the season actually playing. It's almost like a Kawhi. You'll see them in the beginning or a Paul George, and then towards the end of the season, you're like, well, what happened? Now they on the bench because they tweaked something and they're hurt,
Yeah.
and now you out, and now you not even available for the postseason for your team. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
players like that, I agree. I wouldn't want to sign them because you're going to be on the bench when we really need you.
For sure. Yeah, so what we'll see. I'm just, for this back to back, I'm just wondering, what team will show up when with the Knicks? You know, will we get five guys or will we just get one and just four just bodies on the floor? What team will show up on these back
Yeah,
to backs?
I think the Knicks are going to have to they're going to have to show that they want it.
For sure.
The Knicks are going to have to come out gritty. They're going to have to come out a lot more aggressive,
Hmm.
and you know,
Well, we are a matchup, not because we beat Cleveland, but matchup wise, we are better suited to take both those games. So like, again, we'll see. This is a test.
yeah, I'm losing my voice.
That's
Um
what people talk about, Zaya.
yeah, it's Zion Williamson doing it, but the Knicks are a better match against Cleveland.
Oh wow,
I
your
can't
throat.
even talk. Yeah. The Knicks are a better match against Cleveland. Hence why we won last season against them. So
Yeah,
it should be no excuses. Randall, this is your time for Randall and Brunson to actually step up and show, like, all right,
yeah,
we
for sure.
here. Remember how last season Randall was like, New York, we here.
Yep.
I don't want to have to say I got the binoculars up, but we we looking. But again, we're not panicking. It's still very early in the season. But
Yeah,
these two back to backs is for us to see, like, oh, okay, Randall and Brunson are not playing games. It's okay to have those one or two off games. It happens.
for sure. Yeah.
We're not expecting all 82 games for all guys to go in,
Mhm.
But I think the key thing, like you said, from tonight's podcast takeaway is the consistency, and that's what I want to see, especially in these upcoming back to backs.
Oh wow, I just checked out Bleacher. Allen is out, Rubio is out, Mitchell's day to day, Garland's day to day.
Wow. So
Yeah,
then, you know what? It's no reason. And this is the thing, though. I don't want to see the Knicks lose to the B squad, the B or C squad of Cleveland. It's no excuse.
yeah, sure enough.
With all of those guys out for Cleveland, you guys should win.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. And I'm looking at the stats for the league rankings. But you know what? Hey, a win's a win. It's gonna it matters and it's gonna count. So
Exactly. Exactly. Well, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
no, I will be tuned in for both games. For
Same.
sure. Mm.
Same. I know Steph is having a show now. I think she's live, so
Oh, okay. I'm gonna put
yeah,
her show
so
on it.
definitely for all you out there, go watch Dope Soul Sports Talk. It's a great podcast with Stephanie, aka Queen, where she brings nothing but the raw realness on her show, and she holds it down for all the ladies who talk all sports and all things New York Knicks. And she's under the NBK platform on YouTube under Simeon Russell, who that's his platform, but they do fantastic things over there. Shout out to Ron. Shout out to Jarrell. Shout out to Jeff. Jeff subscribed to our
Don't
YouTube.
get out of
Uh,
here. Thank
yeah,
you,
shout
Jeff.
out to Jeff. Yeah, shout out to you, Jeff. Who else? Shout out to Staffadan.
Oh, Staff.
Yeah, shout out
I
to
watched the podcast
AJ.
with Staff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Steph is hilarious. He barely lets Steph get a word in. So them two together is funny.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
watching.
Steph be like, "That's not what I was talking about, Staffa." She be like, "Stay on task, stay on task." Um, and who else? Shout out to AJ. Shout out to Uncle Freezy, DJ Shuttle. Um, to all the team over there. I think I said Ron already.
Yeah,
And who else? Tony, Knicks and Bruises, and he does the Losers Lounge. So when the Knicks win, he does a Losers Lounge podcast. So that's a pretty good. I watch pretty much all their shows. And also Jarrell, I subscribe to his podcast. He has a Die Hard Giants YouTube channel, so he talks all things New York Giants. So
no, we're not gonna talk about them.
yeah, we we definitely not.
Happy
That's
40th
painful,
birthday. We woke up
very
super
painful.
excited.
Hmm.
So yeah, but that's it for us today. We'll be tuned in to the Cleveland game and back to back. So we'll be doing a post game for that. And then yeah, we'll be breaking down what we saw. So I'm excited. I'm excited for these upcoming games.
And so am I. Thank
Well,
you.
anyways, until next time, like always, like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Stay tuned for our next episode. We appreciate the love. Be good, y'all.
Good night.